Brawlers, welcome to the Brawling Pit. We talk about all things casual and kitchen table magic like Brawl and EDH. You're listening to episode 35. I'm Jonathan, and he is Jacob.
Greetings.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm not bad. That was also not the opener I wanted to go with, so I'm a little disappointed in myself for that one.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I meant to say howdy again, but I forgot.
You meant to say howdy again?
Yeah, I forgot though.
Why didn't you say it now?
Okay. Howdy, fellas.
There you go. Are you satisfied now?
Well,
Are you
not
happy?
not so much.
Not so much.
That's what, because I had to we had to do the do-over. It wasn't like the first opener. It was like I got a do-over in the conversation. Yeah, so yep.
Well, what's done can be undone. So
yeah. Definitely not in post-production either. It can't be undone.
Yeah, definitely not. No one edits this podcast. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely no editing ever goes into this podcast.
Yeah,
No.
What is editing?
Oh, by the way, today I planted my rosemary bush.
Rosemary bush.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it took a lot of work. Because the dirt was really hard, and there was a lot of big rocks underneath the surface that you couldn't see. So
why so hard?
I don't know, man. Why my BB hard? No, but seriously, it took a solid hour of digging because I basically got handed this pot of a rosemary bush, and it was 9 inches deep, or I guess I should say 9 inches in height. The actual container, and
I see.
And the optimal strategy when you're putting plants into the ground from a container is you want to dig the same height. You don't want to go any deeper, but you want to go wider around it, 2 or 3 times the width of the container. So
I see.
Yeah, so it was I had to dig 9 inches deep, but it wasn't just a small hole 9 inches deep. I had to dig 9 inches deep and 2 feet 2 or 3 feet in diameter, and
wow,
yeah, it was quite a bit of work.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got there though. I got there.
I'm surprised you pulled it through. That's crazy. That's amazing.
Yep. And rosemary is really hardy. It can survive some really super tough conditions. So I think it should be okay.
You.
Yeah,
I believe you.
It should be okay because I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the brawlers don't know, but you're from the oven of the United States.
I am.
You're from Arizona.
Yep.
So I'm surprised plants even grow there.
Yeah, it's a miracle in itself. It really is.
Yeah, it's what's the temperature right now in winter? In the afternoon?
Honestly, I think it got to 80 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Oh, 80? And that's not bad for summer weather.
Yeah, but we're coming up on December.
Yep.
We're coming up on December though.
Yeah. I used to live there and it's terrible.
I mean, it's all right. Our winters are nice.
Yeah, they are.
We get 4 or 5 months of nice weather, and then
it's when people are getting snow in their home and they want to get away from the cold, they go to Arizona because it's not cold in winter.
Yeah, we get all the snowbirds.
By the way, speaking of winter, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. You know what happens in Thanksgiving?
What?
You want to gather around with friends and family, and there's this huge dinner. And if you're a Magic player, you kind of
You're the only Magic player there because you're the only socially awkward person enough to play the game.
Well, sometimes, but if you are with multiple Magic players and you all play this beautiful format called Commander, wouldn't you like to, play some decks that are more friendly and perhaps a group hut deck that helps everyone to play their cards and allow people to draw cards and help them ramp and help them cast spells, help them do the thing they want?
Okay, but before you get too far into that, slight tangent. I am a big fan of hugs. I'm a huggy person. But on the other hand, I also hate hugs because you get sick from other people that way.
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah. But I don't know.
How do you love of yourself? Like, what?
I don't know.
Do you hug people? Do you not hug people? Like,
I have to like make a split-second calculation. I'm like, what are my odds of getting sick from this person? And then,
I see.
yeah, if I mean, obviously, if they're like coughing and sneezing and they look sick, that's an easy one, right? But
So you
then,
look at their hygiene and look at their face, and
yeah,
you look ugly. I'm not hugging you, kind of thing.
what? But I just, oh, but yeah, I love. I'm just a huggy person. I don't know. Like if I know someone, or if it's like a really good friend. No, not even a really good friend. Just like a friend. I mean, obviously not just like a newly met acquaintance, but like a friend. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a big old hug. I don't know.
Then you must, you will probably become a big fan of this deck that we're about to talk about. But before we jump into the deck, group hug. Usually people have like this strategy about they're just gonna help people cast spells and help people do the thing they want without really thinking about how you can actually win the game, because being in a group hug deck doesn't mean you can't have a win con. Most people, their win con is mill people out because you're helping people draw all these cards and eventually their library is going to be empty. Or some people's win con is super politics. So you're talking other people into attacking other people. Both of these are kind of iffy. Like, in maybe it'll work once in a while when you're playing against people you don't know, right? But people who know the deck and know your strategy, know your tactics, they can easily, go around. And this deck is my answer as a thought experiment to implement kind of like a new tech of a group hug with, a kind of like a special one con. So we'll see what that brings.
So what is this group hug deck you're talking about? So far, all I hear is big talk, but I don't hear any big walking.
Well, let's big walk with the returning explorer called Selfala. That's our commander, Selfala. Explorer returned 1 green white for 2/4 Elf Scout legendary creature. With the ability Parlay, you can tap Selfala to have each player reveal the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you add green to your mana pool and you gain 1 life, and then each player draws a card.
Okay, so
So,
first thing that strikes me with this card, actually a couple things that strike me from this card is first of all, I don't typically comment on art. Um I want to say that I think maybe once every other episode I've commented on art, but that's like think of it like relative to all the cards that we look at, you know.
yeah.
So relative to the high quantity of cards, I don't really comment on art a lot. So first of all, there are a couple things. One, this doesn't look like an elf, but I mean I'm not too deep on the lore. Maybe this is typical elf attire. And second of all, I would tap Zabala. I'd tap it.
I'll tap Savala too. I mean, Savala has really good benefits when you tap her. I don't know if it's a
Exactly.
dude or a girl. Like,
Yeah,
number one, it has some chance of ramping you. So it is
some
sort
chance.
of sort of a mana dark. Number two, it guarantees you a card. It guarantees everyone a card too, but it doesn't matter. It guarantees you a card. It also gains you a life for, well, not that part's also not guaranteed, but a card is guaranteed and some chance of gaining life and getting mana. That's great. With that mana, now we can, cast spells. But this is only the first card in our card draw group hug category.
By the way, according to the mothership, Zabala is a female.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you, Mothership.
Yeah.
So we've again divided this deck into multiple categories. Zavala is the first one of the card draw group hug category. There are also cards that everyone already, they're pretty familiar with. For example, Fawn of Mythos and Howling Mine. They're both artifacts that basically allows each player to draw extra cards in their upkeep. There's also Girapur Orrery, which is a 4-mana artifact that says each player may play an additional land on each of his or her turns. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, that player draws 3 cards. So it kind of ramps you, but it also draws you cards. Horn of Greed, another good card, is 3-mana artifact that says whenever a player plays a land, that player draws a card. We also have Horn of Plenty. Whenever a player plays a spell, he or she may pay 1 mana.
I'm also
If that
gonna comment on the art one more time with Horn of Plenty. If you
okay,
look at it from kind of far away, it looks like a cornucopia of weird stuff inside of it. Which I feel like is what they were going for, but I mean you can't know.
hmm,
You can't be sure.
I think it does look that way. Wow.
Yep.
But anyways, whenever a player plays a spell, if they pay 1 generic mana, they can draw a card at the end of their turn. So it gets through this card phase, which is pretty good.
One thing
Temple Bell.
I dig this deck. I dig the theme, but the one thing I do not dig is this card's cost.
What is this card?
It costs 6 just to play it.
Yeah, it does cost 6 to play Horn of
Insane.
Plenty. That's plenty of mana.
This is a card that I might consider, or I would more consider at 3, but at 6.
Yeah.
Because I mean, given that everybody can play this, right? If I'm paying 6 for this, for a competitive card by today's standards, not by this card standard, not by. I think this is on slot. Looks like.
Yeah.
So compared to today's standards, I'd pay 6 for this effect if only I could activate it. But this is any player.
No, but that is the point.
Right.
You're allowing everyone. You're helping everyone to play
And
their
that's
spell.
why we're playing it.
You're helping everyone play their toys, which is why this card is actually really, really cheap.
Yeah. So this card
monetarily.
should cost 3 to play. Wizards are at it. Let's go.
But you don't mind if it costs 6, because number one, you're gonna eventually be able to tell that you will have 1 million mana when you're playing this deck. You will never run out of mana.
1 million mana.
And number two, there are plenty of ways to cheat this out, but we'll talk about those later. The last 2 cards we have in this category are, number one, Temple Bell, which is a 3-mana artifact that taps to have everyone draw a card. And Nature's Resurgence, which is 2 green for a sorcery that says each player draws a number of cards equal to the number of creatures in his or her graveyard. So all these cards, there are plenty of card draws. A lot of them are recurable, and all of them helps everyone.
We should have played blue in this deck so that we also get the blue dictate.
Yeah, like that would be so good, right? Being able to play the blue dictate is actually really good.
Yeah, and you can flash it in at the end of turn so that you get the first draw. That's always nice.
Yeah, and that is actually exactly how you play the green dictate that we are about to talk about. However, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a good banned group hug commander that does something that Zavala is doing. Zavala has a really good niche here because it does everything a group hug deck wants to do. It draws cards, it ramps, and it gains life. And it helps everyone draw a card, which is great. And our objective, while it's not trying to mow people out, we will still like to be able to, help everyone draw as many cards as they can. We don't think about their discard step. It's kind of like when someone in emergency response finds you bleeding on the floor. They're not going to worry about how much you're going to pay out of your pocket after you're taken to the emergency room with the ambulance. They're not going to think about the $3,000 that you're going to pay. Much like that, we don't think about their discard phase. We just help them draw cards.
Also, I feel like this deck should be green-red. Purely because, at least in the United States, Christmas is green-red primary colors.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
And this is green-white. So we got half of it, but
yeah. Well,
opportunity missed.
Opportunity missed. The next section we have a lot of ramp. We have ramp grip hug. Dictate of Karametras, 3 green for an enchantment with flash. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana to their mana pool of any type that land can produce. We have a lot of effects like this in this deck. Another one of these effects is Heartbeat of Spring, which is 2 and a green for an enchantment that says whenever a player taps land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of that type to their mana pool. Many things like this in this deck. there are also a lot of effects that adds mana to people's main phase. So, so to speak, it helps them to play spells.
So, one card that ramps everybody, as we were talking about with the theme is, we help everybody. It's not just us. It's everybody. Everybody at the table gets to play cards. That's kind of like the theme we're going at. And this card is Aladamri's Vineyard. And this one says the beginning of each player's main phase. Add green to their pool. So everybody
only costs
gets
green.
Yeah, everybody gets double green on both their main phase. Oh no, sorry. I've just been informed that this card has been errated on Gather, so only the pre-combat main phase.
I see.
Yeah.
So you don't get to pay it in your first main phase and then get the benefit in the second main phase. You have to wait.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yep. Unlucky. Unless you could somehow cast this at an instant speed during your upkeep.
Yeah, like the Fodalkan Ori that we actually have in the deck. I didn't plan to talk about that card, but it's a good utility card to have in your deck.
With dude, I'm sorry, but Dictate of Karametra, that card is like nostalgic for me. I remember
It's a good card.
And I remember let's see. I remember a really janky combo. It wasn't good. It wasn't competitive. I mean, Dictative Karametra was never competitive anyways. So you flash in Dictative Karametra on the end step of your opponent's turn. You spent a bunch of mana, and then you Rex Aged it.
Oh my gosh. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you Rex Aged it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like you went like full Russian mode on it, dude.
Wow.
Yep, Scorched Earth policy on your own dictate.
Wow. That's pretty spiky.
Yep.
Let's not be this spiky in this.
No.
This
is like the giving.
This is a friendly deck. This is a very friendly deck. It helps everyone to play their game they want.
Wholesome magic deck. Wholesome magic only.
Yeah. What other cards are similar to the Vineyard?
Yeah, so we got Magus of the Vineyard, and
which Vineyard is he the Magus of?
I'm not sure which Vineyard. Is there like somewhere in the lore where it says which Vineyard? Because
I'm pretty sure he is the Magus of the Aladamri's Vineyard.
Oh, okay. Actually, looking at the art, it looks like there's similar trees. So yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
And this Magus also does the same thing, except
exact same thing.
It's a 1/1, which I would reckon is a downside.
But here's the thing: no one is gonna remove that card,
except for sweepers.
Yeah, except for sweepers, or except that, or unless like there's that one guy that's like, oh, I don't want this next guy to read the benefit. They're gonna get rid of it.
And actually, if you're playing with spikes, like they should, like at least one or two of them should like be thinking about targeting this guy, because magic is pretty zero sum. For the most part, it's fairly zero sum. So like if one thing is helping someone else, like chances are, like it's helping someone more than it is another person. So
yeah,
in theory, if you're playing with spikes that can like evaluate that correctly, then someone should kill this thing pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. But hopefully that your spike friends don't really, hopefully they don't target it. But even if they target it, you have so many of these effects that you don't really care. I mean,
yeah, and it also plays Shizuku, or it also plays Shizuku. Wow, I can't pronounce it. Shizuko. There we go. I don't know why it was so hard for me. Yeah, and it also plays Shizuko, Caller of Autumn, and that one is a 3-mana 2/3 for the same effect, except it adds 3 instead of just 2.
Yeah, and it's during upkeep, so it's not main phase. It adds it to the upkeep, but the mana pool doesn't clear it up. That, by the way, will also be a theme.
This card gives me feelings of like, what was it? The Green-Blue God from Journey to... Or no, not Journey. Yeah, maybe it was Journey. I don't remember. I don't remember what set. The Theros block.
Yeah,
the Green-Blue God.
Yeah.
I like that God.
Exactly.
Because you can like bank mana. That was cool. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, Crewfix is a great card.
Crewfix, that's what it was. Hey, isn't Prophet of Crewfix banned too in EDH?
Yes.
Oh, thankfully.
Prophet of Crewfix is banned.
That card is so busted.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. No one is arguing with you.
My friend has a Zagana deck before the profit ban, and anytime like that deck got going, basically the combo was like, okay, flash that in, so it would stick.
Okay. And okay. Your playgroup needs to run more things like Path to Exile or
Yeah.
sorts. Anything that gets rid of it. I don't care.
Dude, that card
Wow.
is so busted.
Yeah, that card should not you should not allow him to untap with it even once.
He frequently did because it was tough. He had a good deck.
I mean, I had decks with I think Prophet was in every deck I had that had green and blue in it before the ban.
It should be.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised. Like that card should not stick. It's there to draw removal. That's my thought about it. And if it doesn't, you just run away with it.
5
Once you
mana
run
get
away
their
with it, it's
Doomblade out of their
crazy.
hand.
Yeah. Oh, so next card we have is Jungle Wayfinder, a new card from a relatively new card from Battle Bond. 2 and a green for a 3/3 Elf Warrior that says when it enters the battlefield, each player may search their library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into their hand, and shuffle their library. So this doesn't really ramp anyone, but it gives them a land card and put it into their hand is pretty nice. So we already talked about Gyropor's Orrery. It also ramps you, but this next card ramps you even harder because Helm of Awakening is a 2-mana artifact that says all spells cost 1 generic mana less to play. So
I like this card.
every single time you cast a spell, it ramps you, basically. It's really good, especially for if your opponent is playing Storm, you should never play this card. But if no one is playing Storm, drop it.
Wait,
It helps everyone.
I thought the goal of this deck was to help everybody. So why would you refuse the Storm player?
I mean, you still want to be able to have a fair chance of not dying. And if you play this against a Storm player, you're dying next turn.
You're not wrong, but I don't know, man.
It's survival instinct.
I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, isn't red supposed to be like the instinct meme in Flavor Town or whatever?
Well, kind of, but
yeah, we're not playing red. This is green white.
Blue. Okay, well, okay.
And white is supposed to be like equality and justice, right?
I suppose. So justice. Okay, whatever. Play it against the Storm player. I don't care. I don't care what you do.
And then everybody will hate you. Everybody's gonna hate you. Not because you play like an overpowered card that benefits you, it's because everybody else is gonna die immediately now.
Yep. Veterans Explorers, green for a 1/1 human soldier scout. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of creature types. Whenever it dies, each player may search their library for up to 2 basic land cards and put them onto the battlefield. Then each player who search shuffles their library. That's crazy busted. By the way, this is the card that you tell people, hey, can you kill it? Can you kill it? You let people kill it, so everyone can get their 2 cards.
Man, if only you could like block for other people.
Exactly. Yeah, you can talk someone into, hey, can you attack me? And they're like, yeah, sure.
And that's when you blow them out with the giant growth, right?
Yeah, that's how you tap down their guys through politics.
And then when they do attack you, that's when you blow them out with the giant growth, right? He's like, got him.
Yeah, I wish, but we unfortunately don't run giant growth. But maybe you can run it as a secret tech card.
What about Titanic growth?
I actually wouldn't, because this deck you want to stay friendly until you win. You want to be friendly the whole time until the end. So yeah, you don't want to kill people's creatures.
So you're
you want
Gandhi,
to help
basically.
them play spells.
So you're Gandhi.
You are Gandhi. Exactly.
This is the Gandhi deck.
You're fasting the whole time when you're playing this, which is kind of not on theme with Thanksgiving, but I don't care. You can eat in real life, but you're fasting in Magic until you go off.
You are, this is really the Gandhi deck. I am calling this the Gandhi deck. So, Collective Voyage. Cost a single green for a sorcery. Join forces. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. and each player searches his or her library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the total amount of mana paid this way, and then you put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then and then everybody shuffles their library. So,
That's a
it's
nice
like
card.
it's kind of like you're going around the group, and you gotta you take off your hat, and it's like, okay, everybody ship into the pot, and then once everybody like ships into the pot, this is gonna be something ridiculous, like 10 or 20 or something, depending on when you play this card, and then everybody just gets to their end game basically.
So, how many mana do you pay in addition to the green that you tap for?
So, in this deck, I would probably just dump my entire pool into this. Honestly,
You would.
yeah.
Okay. How many do you think your opponent would pay? I think there are two situations. Like, if you dump your entire pool, I think no one will pay anything.
Yeah, like there's the what is it in economics? The free rider problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Like,
so they all become a free rider when you dump your pool.
Yeah, but even so, like with how this deck is going, it's like, would you pay, 6 mana to get 5 lands in your deck? And then since the goal of this deck is for everybody to benefit, it's like, sure, why not?
Yeah. But I think especially if you're in like early game when people have untapped lands that are untapped, not doing anything.
Yeah.
I think it might be worth it to just say, green, and then you just don't pay anything. And
yeah.
Try to have people spend their mana and
I
get more
think
money.
I also think anybody, if you're playing like with spikes and you have a spike on your left, assuming you're going clockwise, like you could like dump your mana, and then the guy to your left will dump whatever leftover mana he's got.
Yeah,
because he'll be like, okay,
they
I mean, I might
will.
as well. Like if you're tapping, if you're tapping out, he doesn't have to worry about much. So
yeah. Oh, by the way, this is relevant. The order when things like this happens is always turn order, so always goes clockwise,
right?
And it starts with you.
So yeah, it's just I say clockwise and to your left, but like if you're going counterclockwise or you're going in some other order, then the person who's
you're not
after
obeying the rules. Judge.
Yes.
You talk about next card.
I'm not a judge anymore. But yeah, let's get on to the next card. This card's art is really sick, by the way. Yeah, this card, 10th with Discovery, 3 in a green for a 4 CMC sorcery. Tempting offer. Search your library for a land card, and you put it on the battlefield. And then
not tapped.
Yeah, not tapped. Each player then searches their libraries for a land card, and they also put it on the battlefield. Not tapped. And then for each opponent that decides to do this, you get to search your library for a land card and put it on the battlefield.
Yeah. So 4 mana search a land and put it into play is pretty bad.
Yeah. But then if the guy to your left, I'm gonna just say to your left, but whatever. Whatever your turn order is, that's what I mean when I say to your left. So then the guy to your left says, I could use a land. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets his land for free, by the way. He didn't pay any mana.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy to his left, like, yeah, I'll take a land. I didn't pay anything for this. And the guy to his left, like, okay, well, I mean, everybody else is doing it. I'm going to fall behind if I don't do this. So so he gets land. So now you got 4 lands. You got 4 lands.
Yeah, you did. All you need is one person to get their land for you to break even. Because 4 mana for 2 lands is the going rate.
Yeah, it is.
Of this effect.
For EDH, yeah, it is.
Yes. But here's the big but.
I like big butts.
If you're playing against this card, I highly recommend you to never search for a land because
it's tough. This is like another economics problem, It is, and you have an economics degree. This is like an economics problem here, where like you want to like all like band together, and if you could like band together, if you're not the one casting Tempt with Discovery, and you're like one of the 3 that didn't do it, the optimal strategy, which is different from the dominant strategy, I'm going to differentiate that. The optimal strategy is for you 3 to band up and nobody takes a land. But the dominant strategy is for you to cheat and take a land.
Yes, it is a very interesting game theory problem.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take it, you fall super behind. Whereas like other people who did take it, they go up. Unless everyone doesn't take anything. In that case, like the person who casts the spell, they fall behind.
Yeah, they get shorted. So
Yeah.
and even then, even as the one casting this, 4 mana for search, at least you get a search. It's not
Yeah.
the worst thing in the world.
It is not. No.
So
Like,
the
yeah.
lesson here is don't play this card against economic mages.
Yeah. So, yeah, you just gotta be careful of this card. But you're playing it, so you don't care.
Yeah, and don't mention the this game theory dominant strategy stuff.
Yep. But once your game is over, feel free to. Oh, you remember how you lost to Temp with Discovery? The Brawling Pit talked about this. You can find them on brawlingpit.com. Blah blah blah. Anyways, going into the next category of the grip hooks, the mana cheating grip hook. There are only 2 cards that cheats their mana, but I think that's plenty because you don't want too many of these guys. Gates to the Ether is 6 mana for an artifact. That's a number that Jacob doesn't really like. It's expensive. But at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player reveals the top card of his or her library if it is an artifact, creature, enchantment, or a land card. So any non-planeswalker permanent. That player may put it into play.
I'm a spike at heart, okay? I can't help it.
Yeah. So this card
is nuts.
This card is nuts, especially for your opponents because they get to use it first.
I'm not a fan.
Well, you're helping everyone play spells. You'll eventually help yourself too. You don't care because no one's gonna attack you.
Well,
just so you know.
Okay, here's the thing. I would be the guy where, like, I'd be the guy to the left of whoever's playing this deck. I would get the first benefit from this card, and then I'd Rex Age it.
Yeah, they probably should. But hey, you drew a Rex Age, which means it's one less thing to target the things that actually matters.
Yep.
This thing doesn't really matter. It's just there to help everyone. The next card is something that matters, and we'll talk about what you will search for later on. But I'm just gonna throw it out there. You can search for anything you want. But Hypergenesis is a sorcery that costs nothing. Oh, how are you gonna play that?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
What a conundrum. What do you mean it costs nothing? Like, it costs 0?
Yeah, there's no casting cost.
Was it a printing error?
I don't know.
Well, wait, there's more text here.
Oh, what does it say?
It says suspend 3, and you can pay a colorless green. Or sorry, a generic green.
I see.
Yes.
So you
well, it's a good thing they gave us this alternative cost to compensate for this printing error.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't really know, because there's no reminder text on this card, when you cast this spell, you exile this card with 3 time counters on it and pay 1 green.
And at the beginning of your upkeep, I think, right? It's upkeep.
Yeah, upkeep.
You remove 1 time counter.
And when there's 0, you cast the effect. The effect goes on a stack.
And one thing to emphasize here, which is not immediately clear, is that cards with no mana cost, but that is different from 0. There's nothing up in the top right. It's just there's nothing there. So something that is to be differentiated is that cards with no casting costs cannot be cast normally. You have to play them some other way. And in cases like this, there's a suspend cost.
Exactly. And well, we talk about plenty about the rules, but what does this card actually do, Jacob?
Well, it says, starting with you, each player gets to put an artifact, creature, enchantment, or land card from their hand into the battlefield. And then you get to repeat this process until no one puts anything into play.
That sounds insane.
This card is like, okay, everybody dump their hand.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. But the good thing is, this thing goes off in your upkeep, and you get to use your things first.
Yes, you actually get your thing first.
Yeah, and we'll talk about what you hopefully will be dumping later on in the WinCon section. But let's move on to the other group hack section, where the first card is called Artifact of Arbiter of Norwich. 6 and a white for a 5/5 giant wizard. I think for 7 mana, 5/5 is not that giant.
No. And also, I think the cool thing is that it's the Arbiter of Norwich, not knowledge.
Yeah, it's Norwich.
Yeah.
So, which is why it's not blue, it's white.
Yep. Yep.
It has vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, each player's life total becomes the highest life total amount all players.
I like it.
Ooh, yeah, it's a pretty good effect.
I dig.
This keeps everyone in the game, right? If someone is losing, they're at 2 life. Now you can save them. They're at 122 again. There's Orzhov, Advocist, 2 and a white for a 1/4 human advisor. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. If a player does, creatures that player controls can't attack you or a planeswalker you control until your next turn.
Is advocist a real word? Like ADVOKISC? Is that a real word? I feel like that's not a real word.
No, it turns out it's not a word. They made it up.
You know, I get, wanting to make up names, but like I feel like this is going a little too far. I don't know.
Yeah, this is one of those cards where both of the words, like every single word and the card name is made up. Orzhov, what is an Orzhov?
And I don't mind. That's okay. It's just this one with the weird spelling rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. But as for the actual card itself, I dig it.
Yeah, 3 mana 1/4. That basically says, "Hey, don't attack me," and you get to reap the benefits of not attacking me. Most people are gonna take that, by the way. Like most people won't be able to resist putting 2 +1/+1 counters on their creatures. I mean, eventually, once everyone else dies, they're gonna start attacking you, and not get the +1/+1. But that will take a while, and you're keeping everyone in the game.
Also, if you're playing with like spikes again, they'll wait like a turn or 2, and then they're gonna come kill you.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
this is another one that you need to deploy carefully, but if deployed well timed, and with a few nukes in your back pocket, card can be really good.
It can be really good.
This is the Gandhi deck.
Yeah. And speaking of people attacking each other, right? Like, because you're Gandhi, you don't care about people attacking each other. You just care about people not attacking you.
Exactly.
And other people are attacking each other. Eventually, their life are going to be pretty low. But you don't want that because you want to keep everyone in the game and be, happy playing cards, playing what they want, doing what their decks want to do. And this is where Wall of Shards come into play. 1 and white for a 1/8. Wow, that passes the vanilla test a lot.
It does. Oh my god. This is like, is this the most overstated card in the existence of Magic?
I think it's one of them. It's a snow creature. Oh my god, super types. It's a snow creature. It's also a wall with defender and flying with cumulative upkeep. Ah, I see. That's why it's overstated. What do we have to pay for this crazy thing? The cumulative upkeep is an opponent gains a life.
I dig.
Yeah, so basically, every single turn, you put an H counter on this guy during your upkeep. And you pay the price a number of times equal to how many H counters there are.
So the combo is you play this on turn 2, and then you just like stack up on one guy that's not taking any damage, and then you Arbor of Null Ridge.
Yeah, and then everyone is at 200 health, and no one dies.
No one dies.
Yes,
you're
pretty
like
good.
the omnibenevolent doctor. Nobody dies nobody dies in my ward on my watch.
Exactly. It's pretty good. And it also fends up someone, right? It's a 1/8 defender with flying.
Yeah,
no one is going to swing into that.
I mean, it doesn't really trade with anything except for like weenies, but yeah, like you're not going to push through this very easily.
Yeah, so yeah. Next up, we have Alliance of Arm. Another one of those Join Forces card. Just costs white. As a sorcery. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of mana. Then each player puts X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is the total amount of mana paid this way. Same question, how many do you pay? It's a slightly different question.
Yes, this is I think slightly is an understatement.
Yeah, it serves a very, very different purpose.
An extremely different question.
Yeah.
Huh.
This card still helps everyone.
Well, I think. Ooh. I think if you're playing this and somebody's in red, I'm not too sure about this one.
Well, again, you have enough effects to
Right.
stop
No,
the
but I mean, like,
red player coming at you.
right. I'm saying if there's like another red player on the table, I think I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I wouldn't pay any mana. I'd play the card, but I wouldn't pay any mana.
Oh, okay. So you allow the red player to pay for himself or herself.
Yeah,
And
but
then
I'm
you
not,
you
I'm
get
not
the
paying
1/1.
for it. No way.
Yeah. You give them the opportunity to get the thing because you know the red player is gonna pay.
Yeah, and then after the red player plays, because you're playing this as a sorcery on your turn. After the red
Yeah.
player pays the mana for Alliance of Arms, what they're gonna do is they're gonna untap and play Electricity or Scouring Sands. Everybody's gonna be sad.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody's gonna be sad and disappointed that they contributed to the red player's army.
Yeah. Except you because
Because you were smart.
he's not attacking you. Yeah. Next up we have Sylvan Offering. It's X and a green for sorcery. You choose an opponent, and then both of you and the chosen person, each create an XX green tree folk creature token, and then you choose an opponent. It can be the same person or it can be a different person. You and that person each create X11 green elf warrior creature tokens. It's a really, really grip huggy card.
I'm donating all the green elf tokens to the red player.
And who are you donating the big guy to?
The red player.
So you're giving him both all the weenies and the big guy?
Yeah, I am. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I am a red player, but I'm also a control player. I'm just a spike, okay? And if you're playing red, you're probably trying to win.
I see.
Yep.
I see.
And you gotta
Well-
give them to them from effort. Because honestly, they're probably gonna run out of steam.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna laugh.
Yeah. A similar card, by the way, and you may also just give it to the red player. I don't know. Benevolent Offering is 3 and a white for an instance this time. You choose an opponent. You and that player each put 3/1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield, and then you choose an opponent. It can be the same person. It can be a different person. You both gain 2 life for each creatures you control.
Yep, going to the red player.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. This whole time, and actually probably through multiple times prior to this episode, I've driven the narrative that I'm like an aggro player. And it's true. I do play a lot of aggro. I do. And I have played
Yeah.
a lot of aggro in my
Yeah.
competitive career. Now, the thing is, though, is I'm just biased towards like aggressive strategies in competitive settings. I don't know why. I just am. But in reality, I like control. I'm a big control player.
I'm
I am.
not. I'm a big aggro player. But yeah, which is weird. This deck
Yeah.
is really controlly if you
It
think
is.
about it.
I love it.
This
I
deck is
love
yeah.
I love really slow, dirty control decks. They're my favorite to play. But if I'm like actively trying to win a tournament, I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I always fall back to aggro.
Yeah, same here. Speaking of weird, so Weird Harvest is a X green for a sorcery that says each player may search their library for up to X creature cards, reveal those cards, and put them into their hand. Then each player who searched shuffles their library.
Decent.
Decent tutor.
And this tutors for our stuff too. And to every player.
so
Everybody
You
does.
can tutor anything you want, but again, in the win con section, I will talk about what you want to search.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it, but this is a pretty spicy meatball that we've got going on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So we're giving everyone their stuff. We're giving them a lot of mana. We're giving them card draws. We're giving them tokens. We're giving them life. That means everyone will have like big giant things.
Yeah, so there's another faucet to this deck.
Yeah, you don't want them to hit you. And this next entire section is dedicated to letting people not hit you, which includes Orzhov Advocates. We already talked about that card. It basically says, don't hit me. Take these +1/+1 counters. Don't hit me.
It's like
All right.
It's like the World War II or pre-World War II appeasement to Adolf Hitler. It's like, here, take the stuff, just don't do anything.
Exactly.
And then every turn is like, take the stuff, don't hit me. Take the stuff,
Yeah.
don't hit me. Take the stuff, don't hit me. It's like, what are we doing?
Yep. Well, the first card, it will kind of fend off people from hitting you, but not always. But it
Or
sometimes it will.
it could also fend off people from hitting anybody.
Yeah, it is a huge politic card. Or in your case, if you don't want one person to die, you can save them. Maze of Ith is a land that says tap, untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn.
One thing that we should note is that this card, Maze of Ith, does not generate any mana on its own.
No.
So be careful.
So this is I counted this as a non-land.
Yes, when you're constructing your decks, don't count Maze of Ith as a land.
Yeah, it's
or
not.
If you have something like what is it? Tomb of Yawgmoth. If you have something like that, then maybe count it as like a quarter land. If you have a consistent way of finding it.
If you have land searching things that search for non-basic lands, this can be a target. Right?
Yeah. So
but otherwise, for any other purposes, it's not a land.
Yeah, it's not really a land.
Yep. And then we have a lot of what we call the prison effect in this deck.
The Pillow Fort deck?
Yeah. Why is it called the prison effect?
Because when people play against you, they feel like they're in prison.
I
have a question. Okay. We're playing all these prison effects, these Pillow Fort effect decks, Maze of Ith, Ghostly Prison. Alright. And yet we also built this deck so that everybody has tools. Okay. Is it torture? Is this deck really sadistic if we're giving all these people these fun toys and we're also saying you can't use them, but have fun looking at them in your hand?
They can use them, it's just not against you. Hit some other guys. It's free to attack them. It costs money to attack me.
I see.
Right? So Ghostly Prison is the reason why it's called the prison effect. 2 and a white for an enchantment that says creatures can attack you unless their control pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you. Bard Steward of Argif is 2 white for a 2/4 human soldier with vigilance that says creatures can attack you or planeswalker you control unless their controllers pay 1 for each of those creatures. Windborn Muse is a 3 and a white 2/3 spirit with flying that says creatures can't attack you or planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 2 for each of those creatures. So if you evolve them out, they have to pay 5 for each creature you control. So maybe you don't mind allowing that red player to have all the toys. I don't know. Yeah. Well, let's talk about this last card in this category.
Okay.
Blazing Archon is a 6 white for an Archon. 5/6. Obviously, 5/6 for 9 passes the vanilla test.
I agree.
Yeah, it has flying.
That makes it even better. It's gravy.
Yeah. Well, this is the gravy part. Creatures can't attack you.
Now,
or
are we sure that's the gravy part, or is that like the meat and bones and the stats are the gravy?
Well, the stats are a gravy. The meat and bone. The meat and bone is creatures can attack you.
Now, are the stats gravy or are the stats a liability? Because that means that this gets hit by sweepers.
This can definitely get hit by sweepers.
And Doomblade.
Yeah. We'll talk about the protection part later. There are ways to protect your plan. But like we have plenty of ways to stop people from attacking you, right? Which is good. But like we're getting everyone all these mana, we're having all these effects. Like in fact, like in the deck that we're not gonna talk about those guys, but like there are a lot of untapped effects. Like Seedborn Muse is in this deck. It untaps all your permanents during everyone's untap step. So like we have things like that. Like what are we gonna do with those? Crazy amount of mana. Well, we want to save up. Upwelling is 3 and a green for an enchantment that says mana pools don't empty at the end of phase or turn. This is for both you and your opponents. Also, another card is Omnath, Locust of Mana. 2 and a green for a 1/1 legendary creature. It's an elemental. Green mana doesn't empty from your mana pool as steps and phases ends. Also, Omnath gets +1/+1 for each green mana in your mana pool.
I
So
like
this
it.
thing grows.
I
yeah,
dig.
it, it gets big. It becomes a really giant,
I
big,
actually really like
giant
this
green
card.
man.
I love this
Yeah.
card, actually.
Yeah, it's a giant green man.
Some of
It
the
allows
even
you to have a
bigger
lot of
green
mana.
man.
Yeah, but the points of these cards is so you have a lot of mana. Like you're saving up your mana. There are also some storage lands in the deck that helps you to save more mana.
Put your mana into an investment banking.
Exactly, and then what are you gonna when your CD matures? What are you gonna spend your mana on?
I'm gonna invest it back in so that I get more mana
Oh,
eventually. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
but I think you should
I'm putting my
spend it
mana into
on.
I'm putting my mana into a Roth IRA.
I think you should actually spend it on a finisher to just end the game.
But I want to retire with my mana.
Well, why retire when you can just end it all?
Okay, that got a little dark.
Yeah.
Let's
so
move on.
here is the finisher combo. Let's talk about the first card. We talked about this card last week. It's actually one of the tribal staples. I mean, this is not a tribal deck, but we're still running this card. Cavern of Souls is a land that says it comes into the battlefield with a creature type chosen. You can tap for a colorless or tap to add 1 mana of any color to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. And that spell can be countered. So that's one half of the combo. The other half is a 10 mana creature, which is, we have been talking about, put a thing into play or search a thing. I think this is the target that you go for, without really letting people know what you're doing. Spawnshire of Ulamog is 10 mana for 7/11 Eldrazi. That's Annihilator 1. So whenever it attacks, defending players sack a permanent.
That sounds pretty
which
good.
is pretty disgusting.
Yep.
You can pay 4 mana to put 2/01 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens on the battlefield, and they all have sack to add 1 to your mana pool. One
Seems
colorless.
pretty good.
Yeah. The next ability costs 20. Costs 20 generic mana to activate. But you can pay 20 to cast any number of Eldrazi cards you own from outside the game without paying their mana cost.
Nah, I'm not a fan of this effect, really. Seems too
Is it
weak.
because it costs 20?
No. Even if you pay 20, it just seems so weak,
Okay.
Yeah. Not a fan.
I want to clarify one thing for brawlers.
What could possibly be the best Eldrazi cards you can come up with? Come on.
Yeah. Let's clarify one thing before we dive into what we want to cast. When a card says from outside the game, it doesn't really mean from your closet in the box in the shoe box.
It should.
From within the garage.
It should.
I mean, it could. But what it really means in the context of the actual rules is your sideboard.
Yep.
Now, there is a sideboard in Commander. It's a 10-card sideboard. You can have 10 cards, have anything you want in the color identity within the sideboard. And here are the 10 cards that we are going to talk about. I'm gonna let Jacob do the honors because when I actually show him this list, he was pretty stoked.
So the first card in this list, which I think, in my opinion, is underpowered and not strong enough. I just doesn't have the to get there. But yeah. First card is All Is Dust, a 7 mana sorcery. Each player sacrifices all colored permanents that he or she controls. Now you might be wondering, but wait a second. I thought that Spawnsire of Ulamog said that you can only play Eldrazi cards. Yes, All Is Dust is a tribal sorcery. It has the subtype Eldrazi. It is an eligible target to cast.
Pretty good.
Considering you're casting it for free. Next card is It That Betrays. Normally a 12 mana Eldrazi creature for an 11/11 Annihilator 2. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that card onto the battlefield under your control. Okay.
Yeah. So before we even move on to the rest of the cards, what's the interaction here, Jacob?
Well, if you recall All Is Dust, which I just said about 2 minutes ago, not even, but I mean, understandable if you forgot. each player sacrifices all colored permanents they control. Not exile, not destroy, sacrifices. And if that betrays, gets all those things that they just sacrificed and puts them onto the battlefield under your control.
Oh my gosh.
So all those really awesome things that they are not allowed to have, you get. And so enchantments, you get to put them on things that you want. So like if you have auras, or if they have auras, now they're your auras, you get to put them on whatever you want to put them on. That's part of the rules of enchantments, by the way, if you didn't know that. It's kind of niche, but it comes up once in a while. What else? What else is really good that you would probably be getting?
Well, let's not forget that if they sacrifice their commander, now you control that commander.
That's a nice commander. I think I'll take it.
Yeah, I think I'll take it. It's not in their command zone anymore, so they can't cast it.
Yep.
If that's not enough for you, if you're like, oh man, that's not good enough.
It's not good enough. For me,
what can I do with a board full of things? Here are some other cards that comes with the package of Spawnsire. Emrakul, the Promised End, is a 13 for a 13/13 Eldrazi legendary creature. When it costs one less to cast, blah blah blah, but you don't care about that. You don't care about that cost.
It's not even in your deck.
It's not even in your deck, so you don't care. But when you cast Emrakul, you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. And after that turn, that player takes an extra turn.
That's assuming a lot. First of all, that's assuming there is a next turn.
Yep. Yep. But it also has flying trample and protection from instants. But yep. That's assuming there's a next turn. which there might be, I don't know, but
there really shouldn't be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So another one we're playing is Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, a very, very classic staple. I'm not sure if I want to say it's a staple, but it's timeless. It's very recognizable. 10 mana, 12/12. When you cast Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, draw 4. It has Annihilator 4. So once again, you don't know, Annihilator X is just whenever you attack with that creature, the defending player sacrifices that many permanents, whatever the number says next to the Annihilator.
Which, because you have it that betrays, it just takes their things.
Yeah, you just take their stuff. And when Kozilek is put into the graveyard from anywhere, they shuffle it into their library back in the graveyard. So it just can't sit in the graveyard for longer than a second, basically.
Yep.
Playing Kozilek, the Great Distortion. Now, these aren't planeswalkers, so it's okay to have both the Kozileks out. That's fine.
Yep. Different names.
This Kozilek has the text, when you cast Kozilek, the Great Distortion, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, which with this deck that might not trigger, you get to draw a card equal to the difference. So basically, when you cast it, just draw the 7 if you don't have 7. Menace, and you can discard a card with converted mana cost X. You get to counter a target spell with converted mana cost X. So, you play a 3 mana spell, you can discard a card to counter the 3 mana spell.
Yeah. And this deck has the mana curve is pretty sparse. Like, there are a pretty good number of cards among all the mana curve. So even if someone casts a board wipe on you, you should be able to counter it easily.
And another one we're playing is Oblivion Sower. When you cast Oblivion Sower, target opponent exiles the top 4 of their library, and then you can put any number of land cards that they own from exile onto the battlefield under your control.
Yeah. This one's on the weekend. It's just a 6 mana 5/8. It's on the weekend.
Yeah. And then there's Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. That's an important distinction. When you cast Ulamog, exile up to 2. No. When you cast Ulamog, this Ulamog, exile 2 target permanents. It has indestructible, and when it attacks, the defending player exiles the top 20 cards of the library. We're also playing we're also playing the old Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. 11 mana 10/10. When you cast this Ulamog, destroy target permanent. Also has indestructible. Has Annihilator 4. And it has that graveyard shuffle clause, so it can't really sit in the graveyard for too long.
Yep.
Also playing Void Winnower. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana cost. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, etc. You get the idea. Can't cast them. And your opponents can't block your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana cost. So they can't block with the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
They can't
So
block with Siege Rhino.
yeah.
So this card literally says, literally, your opponents can't even.
Yeah, they literally can't even. It's a joke that's been told before, but
yeah,
BFZ has passed for a while, so I think we can bring the joke up again.
It has.
They literally can't even.
And finally, we are playing World Breaker. 6 in a green for an Eldrazi 5/7. Obviously, has Devoid, one of the newer Eldrazi cards for the recent Battle for Zendikar card block. When you cast World Breaker, exile target artifact, enchantment, or land. Also has reach. You can pay 2 to colorless to sacrifice a land, and you get to return World Breaker back from the graveyard back to your hand.
Yeah.
And so this
Which
is not
probably
go
would
away.
never happen. Yeah.
If the game somehow goes on, this is not going away.
Exactly. Now, unlucky for you, if you're one of those people who are the target audience of Ultimate Masters, both the old Ulamog and old Kozileks are being reprinted. So, good luck.
Now, you might be wondering, is that it? That's the whole list? Yes, that was all 10. And if you're anything like me, the first thing that I just, knee-jerk reaction was like, where's the actual Emrakul? And then I remembered, oh, it's banned.
Yeah, it's banned.
Reminder, Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, is banned in Commander.
Yep. So, this is where you're spending all your mana. You spend 20 mana to cast 60 mana worth of things. It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's not even 60. It's 70, 80. Whatever. You get the gist. It's if somehow the game doesn't end there, I think you'll have a fairly good chance of actually closing out the game.
Yeah, this card
afterwards.
Literally says, okay, everybody give me your permanents. I'm gonna draw a buttload of cards. I'm gonna have protection against basically any spell you cast. Most of my stuff is gonna be indestructible anyways.
Yeah.
And I get to take control of this next guy's turn.
Yeah. That one poor guy. But you take control of the control player's turn, so you can cast their spells for them, and then counter their spells with their counter spells.
Yep. And last but not least, your opponents literally can't even. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, they literally can't even. And interestingly enough, a lot of the board wipes are even cost. So have fun. But you need to get to this one con. I think you definitely need protection. This is the last section of the deck, and there are plenty of good cards. Like Lightning Greaves and Shalai are things that we have talked about plenty. So, but those are there to protect your things. And here are things to respond to board wipes and such. Heroic Intervention is 1 green for an instant that says permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Teferi's Protection says 2 and a white for an instant that says until your next turn, your life total can change and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control faces out. And then you exile Teferi's Protection. Also, Angel's Grace is another protection. It's a white instant. We talked about this card one time.
On Teferi's Protection, does that work if you put it on I can't think of it, Rod or Isochron Scepter?
No, because it costs 3.
Okay.
I'm sure they thought of that.
I literally thought it cost one in the white. My bad. I misread it.
Yeah, I'm sure they thought about that part. But Angel's Grace is white for an instant with split second, and it says you can't lose the game this turn, and your opponents can win the game this turn until end of turn. Damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1, reduce it to 1 instead. So this is a pretty busted card. We talked about it once. By the way, that offer still stands.
You have to go hunt down the episode, though. I don't remember.
Yeah, go find that episode. I don't remember the number, but you'll find it.
Yep, there's an offer on the table for a signed Angel's Grace by me. And if you want, I guess Johnathan can also sign it if you want it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would want it, but it's there.
Yeah. Crazy person.
And totally, that sentiment is totally not flipped the other way around.
Yep.
But yeah, it's somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Next up is Second Sunrise. It's 1 white for an instant. Each player returns to play all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and land cards that were put into his or her graveyard to play from play this turn. This protects you even from Armageddon. Like the one person who plays Armageddon, they just have 4 mana to destroy all lands. Now you bring them all back.
Judge.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have your combo out, right? We comboed off and play Spawn Sire.
Yep.
Okay. What if you cast Second Sunrise?
Well, don't cast Second Sunrise. they get their stuff back.
I had to ask. I had to. It gets your noggin jogging. It really does.
Don't do it. And the rest are just board wipes and target removal. So we have 3 board wipes. We have Descent Upon the Sinful. We have Fumigate, and we have Play of the Game. And by the way, this is when the Overwatch Play of the Game.
This is not an Overwatch game.
Start queuing. Yeah, but
Play
you
the game.
can hear the background music right now.
I have PTSD from hearing Play the Game because I hear like the somewhat like auto-tuned robotic
Play of the Game.
Yeah. And then I just hear like Ryuji no Kano Kura, and then it's like, oh, it's the Genji alt. Like, no.
You got the Kyoko.
Yeah, no, and then I get PTSD flashbacks from that. But no, this is not an Overwatch meme. It's an actual card called Play the Game. Costs 6 white with assist. Another player can pay up to 6 generic of that spell's cost. By the way, you do have to pick a player. Not anybody can just jump
pick one person. Yeah, it's a sorcery. Yeah,
and it's a sorcery. And exile all non-land permanents.
Yep. It's a very expensive board wipe. But yeah. So here's how it's gonna work. You put this card on the stack, and then you choose one person, and that person can chip in some, and then you pay the rest. That's how it works. All right. But if someone doesn't pay for it, and you refuse to pay for the rest, it just the game state rewinds, and that card's back in your hand, no longer on the stack, and you haven't paid anything. So you can do it again and target a different person. So
you can check. You can like kind of I mean, technically I guess you would have to like try each one, but you could just like openly ask the table like, hey, you know, who would do it? And then you can try it. Just to save time. But also Play the Game is it's a really interesting card. So as I mentioned earlier with Tempt with Discovery, you want to play that card and you want to hope that your opponents don't really like know what to do, or maybe they're not the best players in the world. To put it in a somewhat nice way. Play the Game. You want to target someone, or at least have one other person, preferably multiple people, that kind of have a grip on the game and evaluating the game state. Because playing the game, sure, you could pay the whole 8 yourself, but you know, wouldn't it be nice to have someone help you pay the cost of Play the Game? Because 8 mana is a lot of mana, you know? And this relies on having another person being able to evaluate the game state, understand that they're behind, and also understand that their chances of winning are higher if they help you push a reset button.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to know the game enough to know that they're losing. And some people can tell. So I think that's when you jump in and tell them, hey, you're losing.
Yeah, and you know, even like with newer players, and nothing to fault with the newer players, right? It's not their fault, they're just not as experienced. But Magic is fairly zero sum. So even if a player knows they're losing, if they're like kind of new or not like super experienced or not spiky, you know, like even if they know they're losing and you say, hey, we have a chance to hit the reset button and improve your odds of winning, they might still say, nah, I'm good. You know, I don't want it. I want to hang on to what I've got. And while technically, even if you're right, that they would have a higher chance of winning after hitting this reset button, they just might not want to do it.
Yeah. And that's fine. Because here's the thing about this card. It's also a bluffing tool, because once you show this card, even if people don't want to pay for it, you have shown it. People know you have a board wipe in hand. So people are not, they're going to, start slowing down on committing things on the board. Even though you're helping them a lot in doing that, you're still giving them a bunch of mana. You're still giving them a bunch of cards. You know, they may not use up the entire group hug capability. And I think that's fair. That's good.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. And we also have 2 target removal.
Because we
It's a
have
little
to.
bit of you just have to, but it's on the low side, but it doesn't really matter.
They're good removals. They're good
Yeah.
single targets.
Yeah, and they both fit the group hub theme because they both gift your opponent something. Path to Exile is white for an instant that exiles target creature, and its controllers may search his or her library for a basic land card. Put that card into their battlefield tapped and shuffle his or her library.
A modern staple.
Yeah, it gives them lands. So good.
It is. It's a great card. This is a really amazing card. Like I said, a modern staple.
Yeah, and here's a legacy staple: Source to Plowshares. White for an instance that says exile target creature is controller gains life equal to its power.
Yes, both of these are amazing cards. Well, I think a better group hug strategy would play Zendru, but take it like the opposite direction. So instead of helping everybody like get their stuff they want and cast their spells with like mana acceleration, you group hug everybody such that nobody gets to do anything.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about Zendru in the Christmas episode. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see. I mean, it is the donation commander, so
Yeah, that's the donation commander, but just a little bit of teaser for you right there. We'll see. We may decide against it, so no commitments there. But so that's all the cards we have time to talk about. But obviously, there are some that are, we don't really have time to talk about some commander staples. So you can see the entire deck list either down below in the show notes, or you can find it through bit.ly/grouphug. And as always, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, if you want to tell us how much you like this deck, how much you dislike this deck, you want to tell us that we are terrible people for playing Eldrazi's, feel free to reach out to us on our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Brawling Pit. Find us on Reddit as r/Brawling Pit, and email us at brawlingpitmtg@gmail.com, or you can always visit our official website, brawlingpit.com. As always, I've been Johnathan, and he's been Jacob. Thanks for listening.
Hey, so what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm fasting the whole day until dinner.
Wait, what are you doing the actual day of Thanksgiving for you though?
I'm fasting the whole day until
well, I mean like family and
I take it back.
Friends and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So my Thanksgiving morning will involve with me boarding a plane to fly from Oregon to Arizona. I'm flying from a very cold place. I'm flying from a very cold place in the United States. Not as cold as like the fridge of the United States, which is like Alaska. But I'm flying from Oregon to Arizona, the oven of the United States, as we talked about this episode. And once I touch down, I'll just I'll see my family and hopefully see some friends. Not on Thanksgiving Day, but like maybe after. I'm staying for a whole weekend. So, yeah, it should be fun.
Aren't we meeting up soon?
Yeah.
Sometime?
Yeah, maybe we can produce a gameplay video.
Oh, dude, maybe we should.
Maybe we should.
Maybe.
I don't know though.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'll bring my camera.
Bring your commander deck.
Yeah. Bring my commander deck.
I'm serious. Bring your commander deck. I want to play.
Sure.
I'm itching.
I'll definitely bring. Well, I actually won't bring the group hug commander deck that we talked about this episode. That sounds like a terrible deck to play in 1-on-1. Oh, by the way, yeah, guys, don't play this deck in 1-on-1. I mean,
your opponent doesn't have anyone else to hit.
Yeah. Yeah, this should actually be in the part of the main episode. But since you're staying in the sign off, I just want you to know that don't play it in 1-on-1. It will be terrible.
Yeah, it has the Jacob Spike seal of approval on advice on that one. Don't play this in 1-on-1.
Yeah, but yeah, I look forward to Thanksgiving. It should be fairly fun. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I think I have a party to go to, which sounds weird.
Yeah. Party Thanksgiving? Party on the Thanksgiving night? That's crazy.
No, it's like a lunch kind of party.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Then Friday, I have plans with someone we're doing like all you can eat Korean barbecue. And
yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah, a special someone, as I said, and
Yep.
I'm gonna go get fat. I'm gonna get really
Yep.
fat, and
There,
then
there will be someone else, but we'll see if we manage to get him out.
maybe, yeah, he's a tough one to nail down for sure.
Yep.
And then Saturday, I think I'm gonna be making my own turkey.
On Sunday,
No, on Saturday,
on
maybe Sunday.
Saturday,
I don't know.
what the heck? Why?
Because I want my own turkey. Like I'm going to the party on Thursday, and
Uh-huh.
then yeah, and this is like, it's not. We don't even get turkey at this party. We do fried chicken instead. I don't know why. I don't. It's not my deal.
Dude, I love fried chicken a lot more than turkey.
Really?
I would take fried chicken over turkey every single day.
By the way, I found this really awesome fried chicken recipe. Well, actually, I say recipe, but it was intended for legs. What I'm really happy about is the breading recipe. Okay,
Send it.
for some reason, um, it didn't occur to me to use cornstarch and baking soda in the actual breading recipe. I don't know why I never thought of that, but in hindsight, it just
Wow.
seems like the most obvious thing to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you send me the recipe?
I'll do it. It does
Okay.
it does a double frying mean. So
Yeah,
between the cornstarch and the baking soda, in addition to the flour and seasoning mixture, you fry it once, and then you let them keep cooking out of the fryer a little bit, so you actually get the insides, and you fry them again, so you get a nice
Oh,
crunchy outside
that's
without
like
burning
twice
it.
fried. That's awesome. That's like
Yep,
roasting.
it's amazing.
That's literally roasting. That's awesome. Yeah, at Brawlers, if you want to know, if you want to follow along and try this deep fried chicken recipe, you can find it in the show notes at bit.ly/brawling pit fried chicken.